Michael Reiss, hello.
Good morning, Fred. Hey, Hardy. John, are you in there today?
I am. I'm here. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
mentioning my name, Mike. It makes me feel good.
I love it. I love it. Live from Nashville Airport, so I apologize in advance for any announcements, but I am tucked into a shoe shine little shop here to
Oh,
try to find the quietest place.
oh, there you go. Have you ever had your shoes shined at the airport, Mike?
I have. It's been a while,
Yeah,
but
me too.
yeah, I like
Yeah,
it.
I
I
just
like
had
it.
my sneakers retouched at the Natick Mall.
Oh,
Excellent.
they do a nice job.
Uh,
Did you go to Laced downstairs? Is that where you went?
no, I did. I go in there sometimes, and then I start look at StockX while I'm looking at those shoes, and I say I could get
A
these
little
for
cheaper.
a lot less.
Yes, I agree.
But this is a brick and mortar. I should be getting a little bit a better deal here. I feel.
No.
Anyway, Mike, what did you think about the teams getting settling for the extra point after the great Drake Maye play?
Oh boy. So are you guys analytics guys? Like what do you feel
Yeah,
about
I'm open to
analytics
anything. If
before?
I was a coach, I'd use analytics. If I had like very little time to make a decision, I'd lean on analytics.
Okay, so just the numbers. I had asked our analytics expert at ESPN, what did the model tell you about that situation? And he said that the ESPN analytics model supported the choice to kick and go to overtime. The exact number was 48.2, and then to do the 2 point play was 45.7.
Okay.
So it was close, and it doesn't account for, hey, you're 2-6. What do you have to lose this season? It doesn't account for the prior play in which Drake Maye was running around for 11.82 seconds. He was tired, all that stuff. But I will be honest with you guys. We had talked about it in the press box among reporters before the drive began and said, if they score here, would you go for two? And I said at the start of the drive, I would probably play for overtime. But I don't think it's like one or the other. I think you could argue for either side.
Yeah, and also that doesn't factor in that Mayo said the defense was gassed after the game. I mean, you saw the way Tennessee was just able to run the ball in overtime. You know, there is that 50-50 chance of losing the coin flip and not receiving the ball. Do you think – I want to ask you this because I heard Joe Murray talking about it after the game, and I thought it was interesting. You know, in overtime when the Patriots got the ball, they had plenty of time. Do you think that they went deep twice? One in the second time it was picked off. Did that have something to do with you think that Maye in his condition that he was in at that point in terms of fatigue and things like that they figured maybe we should just get this downfield as soon as possible?
I don't think so, Fred. I think if anything, it was the clock. You know, like that was a long drive that the Titans had. That drive of 7 minutes and 28 seconds, I think, was the longest drive in overtime in the NFL, I think, since 2018, if I have it off the top of my head. So they get the ball back with just 2:32 left in overtime. Are you playing for the win? Are you playing for the tie? With that little time left, that would be my assumption without having reviewed the overtime. And I do want to say, in overtime, I thought one key play, not to overlook it, 3rd and 5, you have them in a passing situation. You blitzed, you got good pressure, and Calvin Ridley beat Christian Gonzalez just straight up. Two great players, one-on-one matchup. You hope your corner, would win that matchup. He didn't. It extended the drive for them, and I thought that was a key play in overtime.
Well, let's talk about Christian Gonzalez a little bit. He did very well against Devontae Adams the game before and had that one pass breakup at the beginning of the game yesterday. But by and large, I thought he struggled for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, and John, it's hard for me live without knowing what the calls are. Like, when was he in man? When was it zone? I thought that play I can lock in on 3rd and 5 overtime. It's man to man. It's him on Calvin Ridley, and that you play that better technique wise when Ridley's coming out of his break and you're coming out of your break and you're a little bit tighter. Maybe you're forcing a punt, and the Patriots are getting the ball back in overtime, and all they need is a field goal to win. So I thought it's hard for me to say like totality wise, but I thought that one play you can absolutely drill down on and say Ridley got the best of Gonzalez in a key moment.
My point was, but it was a larger point about Gonzalez. I'm not sure I'm ready to call him great. He shows flashes of greatness. You can see physically he is able to do the job, but I'm not. We're week to week, and Mike, see if you agree with me. I'm really not sure what to expect. He can do it, but can he do it consistently?
Yeah, John, I think that's more than fair for a second-year player who in his rookie season only played 3.5 games. So I would not push back on you. I would also give credit to the other players. Like, he's covering the top receivers on every other team. And I think some weeks we see he has a better performance than those top players. I would say like last week against Devontae Adams. But then other weeks he doesn't, like Stephon Diggs and the Texans, I thought, got the best of him. So I think it's a fair point by you.
Looking at this team going forward, and to think about they've got Chicago next week. You're going to have, a look at another rookie here. I once again sitting here on a Monday, and we've had it a couple of times now after a Patriots loss with Drake Maye in there. It's this odd feeling of having optimism about a team that just lost a game. I'm having it again today. We talked about it from the start of the show. I think Patriots fans have already, but if they haven't, they should be really happy with the fact that it looks like you hit on this guy. Without Drake Maye yesterday, you don't have hardly any offense. And even though they lost the game, there's an odd optimism watching this team right now just because of Drake Maye.
Hardy, it's spot on. I'm here at the airport flying back to Boston, and literally there's 2 flights going back to Boston next to each other on the gates. And that's what and they're all Patriots fans. That's what everyone's talking about. Like, we got a chance with Drake Maye. I think the concern is, what are you doing to surround him with better things to maximize what he is? And that's the players, that's the coaching, and that is the discussion, Hardy, that literally I'm having with Patriots fans that travel.
It's not even a discussion for this year, though. I mean, I wonder how many times they can lose a game like that and have Drake Maye, play pretty well. He made a couple of bad mistakes in that game, but he plays well enough and he shows you enough during the game to where you come away from it thinking, well, things aren't so bad. They're 2-7. They just lost to a bad football team in a bad really football game. And again, you've got this feeling like, well, it's not so bad because you got a quarterback. Well, you're going to get better this year? No. Nothing's going to happen this year, but wait till next year. And I wonder how long that's going to be sustainable.
Well, I think, Hardy, it'll be sustainable as long as Drake keeps playing like this.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be some games where he's not running for 95 yards. I mean, that was the second highest rushing yardage for a Patriots quarterback since 1976 when Steve Rogan had 105 rushing yards.
Right.
What we saw yesterday was rare, and I think he'll have some games because he's a young player where he still where he struggles. So I think that's how long it'll last. But I feel like people that follow the team and sports know that if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance. And so the Patriots have a chance because it looks like they hit on the quarterback.
Mike, I wanted you to expand upon a tweet I saw that you put out there after the game was over. This has been a run-first offense, at least at the beginning of the season. But after seeing what we saw yesterday, you think that they should just put the ball in this kid's hands and, for better or for worse, watch him operate.
And that was specific to the game, John. I felt like late second quarter, and this is a conversation about the coaching. Oof. You get it moving with the pass, and then they're running it twice. And I think I understand what Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, is thinking, which is we want to make sure we end up with the ball in our hands at the end of the quarter, regardless of whether there's points. And the feeling being that if we can't gain a yard or 2 yards, let me see what it was. I think it was second and
it was second and 1, and they ran hasty up the middle. And then Stevenson got tackled for a loss on right. 3rd and 1.
And that's
I mean, painful, right? That's painful. That's one that I would imagine Alex Van Pelt's going to regret. But that's when I feel like that was why I tweeted that, John. Where I said, enough.
Right.
put the ball in the kid's hands.
But can you
and
do that? Can you do that in the future? I think that tweet's not just good for yesterday. I think that's good for moving forward because this offensive line, like a lot of things on this team, is very hit or miss.
That's right. And so I think, John, that might be what it has to be this year. But I don't think that's the way to live going forward. You have to be able to run the ball. And if you want to second guess the coaching, which I will, I think what they did offensive line-wise going into this game looked like a major miscalculation. They could have come back with the same line as last week, but they put rookie Layden Robinson at right guard and then bumped Mike Owenu out to right tackle. I think we all agree Owenu is a better guard than a tackle. They ended up pulling Layden Robinson late in the second quarter to go to Mike Owenu at guard and then DeMontre Jacobs at right tackle because the Titans' best player is Jeffrey Simmons, their defensive tackle. So I think that's a fair second guess on the coaching decision going into the game.
All right. Well, listen, it's an exciting time. Do you think that Mayo had anything to do with the 2-point conversion decision?
I do.
Okay.
I think that's his call, Fred. He has to make that call.
Okay.
I'm curious to see what he says this morning. He's meeting with reporters at 9. I'm going to be in the air, so I won't be able to be on the video conference. But I do wonder if there was a part of him that said I should have gone Dan Campbell style and just said, I know what the analytics say. Let's just go for it. Like I want to tell my team, I believe in them, and if we can't get a 2-point conversion with the game in line, that's okay. The way it ended to put ourselves in that position was a win in and of itself. Maybe would have left them with a better feeling, whether they got it or not, than the way it unfolded.
Okay, so I was watching this is interesting, and then we'll let you go. I know you're at the airport. Yeah. Is that I was watching the Lions, I follow them, and I was watching the Lions game yesterday, and Dan Campbell, because they were talking about how the Lions couldn't play outside. They're an indoor team, and Campbell said, well, no, we're not. And he told the team, like, we're really going to push this, that we can win in these conditions, and they did. Campbell won 3 games his first year with Detroit, and they drafted extremely well. But a lot of teams have drafted well and not won, like one in New York that's in your division. And but he did establish that attitude and like a toughness. Is there something to be said? Should Patriot fans be watching this team? Because like you just said, if Mayo comes out today and said, you know what, maybe we should have gone for 2. He won't do that. But or in some way, do you think that establishing that culture early in Mayo's career is important? Like going for 2 is more than winning the game.
Right.
It's like, hey guys, this is the way we're going to play football.
This is what this team is going to be.
Yeah.
100%. I think, and Fred, that's your team, right? The Lions?
I'm a Jet fan, but I grew up in Detroit. But go ahead.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, and I think if Gerard Mayo is regretting not going for 2, I think that's the reason why. And look, in fairness to why you don't go for it, I mean, they couldn't gain a yard at the end of the second quarter,
right?
And it took them 11.82 seconds to uncover, to tie the game. But like the idea of just rolling it out there and saying, let's just go.
Well, how about the Jet game? 4th and 1, and you get it in. I know that was they had to, but like, you're coming off a game where you got what you needed to do. You had 2 drives down the field. The momentum of this, because again, Mike, it's not a big deal they win or lose this game ultimately, but establishing that culture should be interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Go ahead, Mike.
I think it's a great conversation because look at how they covered the kickoff at the start of overtime. Brendan Schooler, like that was that could have been a forced fumble. That was a great hit.
Yeah.
Guy held on to it. So it's easy for us to talk about it knowing the way it unfolded. I guess my question would be, what play would you have run in a 2-point conversion? Probably roll May out and try to let him run it in.
Oh, yeah,
right?
You're not running the football. That's for sure. That's one thing we found that they couldn't do yesterday.
That's right.
Well, you can extend those plays.
Yeah, and that's not my decision to make, Mike. I decide what to do. You decide how to do it. Okay? That's on the team.
Love it.
You go ahead.
Love it, Hardy. And I just want to tell you guys, you missed a great one Friday night. Rick Springfield in Woonsocket. I'll give you the full report next time we talk.
Oh, cool.
How many times have you seen Rick Springfield in your life?
I think we're up to maybe four 4 or 5. But for those that are interested, you always have to go see him with the band, not acoustic.
Oh.
Well, now that Robbie Robertson's dead, you can still see him with the band because Springfield oftentimes fronted. He filled in for Dylan when Dylan was unavailable.
Oh my God! I'm looking at the set list right now. He closed with Jesse's Girl. I'm shocked.
How about that?
He didn't do that third song in the set. Worried that people would walk out after that.
How many songs?
18.
Whoa!
Yeah. I'm going to text you guys a video right now so you can enjoy during the break after we get off here.
Are there any other ex-soap opera guys that you are big fans of, like the guy who did Rock On?
Yeah, no, Jack Wagner.
Yeah.
Jack Wagner had a solo career, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, listen. Mike Reiss, I like that you go to these shows. You live a very full life, and safe travels back from Nashville, my friend. Hopefully no connections for you. Hopefully ESPN is
absolutely
not cutting
look
costs.
Look at the shoe shine here.
Exactly. All right.
That's right.
Thanks.
We're good.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it as
All right,
always.
guys.
All right, there you go. The great Mike Reiss.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.